Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing like a first impressions review, demo, swatches, tutorial. Y'all know the drill. It's a get it or forget it review today on the Back Talk palette by Urban Decay. This actually just released, so I went to the mall today to grab my hands on it. That way I can review it for you guys. And we have a lot to talk about with this palette. A lot of pros, a lot of cons. I'm going to dive into everything, but really quick before we get started, if you are new to my channel, then welcome to my channel. Make sure before you leave, you do not forget to subscribe down below. That way you're notified for future videos from me. I do post 3 times a week. So Wednesdays, Fridays, and then mail hauls every single Monday. Also make sure that you click the bell notification. That way you are part of the notification squad and Snap fam and everything else. Make sure that you check out my social medias down below if you want to follow me. But anyways, I'm excited to demo this palette and talk a little bit more about it. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so we are starting with a bare face. I mean, not really bare, but you know what I mean. I have no eyeshadow on, no blush, no highlight. We are going to be diving into this palette and testing everything out. So let me just say, as soon as I saw this palette on Trend Mood, probably like a month or 2 back, I was initially drawn to it because you guys know it's my kind of colors. So it came out this week. I went by my local Sephora today in Haynes Mall, Winston, Salem. I know sometimes I see y'all comment like, oh my gosh, I'm from Winston. So let me know in the comments below if any of y'all live around here. I always think that's so cool. Anyways, the palette is $45 and here is what it looks like. I swatched 2 shades in store, but it says Back Talk and then it has Back Talk upside down. The packaging's actually really nice. It has like a sleek finish for the white lettering. And then on the back, it shows you all of the different shades. And as you can see, like the shininess on the colors, I really like that little detail. Let's open this baby up. I think that's a pretty good price because you're getting, you know, a couple bigger shades that you can use for like blushes, highlights, and you're getting a mirror and everything. Ooh. So here's what the palette looks like. Oh my gosh, totally didn't realize I was wearing my watch. Let me just take it off because I don't want it to get dirty. Shout out to everybody that gave me options and told me all about how much you guys love the Apple Watch. I've had it for like 2 days and I really like it. Okay, I'm gonna zoom y'all in so we can show you the palette and me up close so we can do my makeup. I'm gonna put my hair back, that way you guys can actually see me. Okay, so here is the palette on the front and then here's what it looks like on the back. And then as you can see, it is a thicker palette. So when you open it up, it's actually a really neat idea because if you open it one way, you basically have 3 blushes and a highlight, or you can actually use the low key as a highlight as well. And then you have your mirror. If you open it up the other way, you have all of your eyeshadows and then you have your mirror. Now this for me, it seems really convenient, especially if you're somebody that's on the go, you need to do like your whole face and makeup. This kind of like contains blush, highlight, and eyeshadows. And then you have a mirror, whichever way you want. And then as you can see, here's kind of what it looks like. The mirror actually comes out and it's a 2-sided mirror. So one side it says Urban Decay and then the other side it says Back Talk. Now, of course, in order for you to close the palette, you do need the mirror. So just wanted to note that. All right, so let's hop in. Let's do an eye tutorial. I'm going to apply the colors on my face as well. That's why I didn't put blush or anything on like that. And ooh, I'm excited for this. So let's go ahead and dive in. The very first shade I'm going to use in the palette is called 3 Sheets. And this is going to be like a really pretty light pink shade. I'm going to put this in my brow bone as a brow bone highlight. And I'm going to be using this mirror to do this as well. So really pretty shade so far, very pigmented. And I'm just gonna kind of bring that down here a little bit as well. And then we'll be doing it on this side as well. And I do have like a bigger mirror right here that I normally use too. So I'm gonna make sure I can, whoop, see that. We have this mirror here in case things get a little bit crazy. Okay, so yeah, I'm just gonna smooth this out, but it's a very pretty color. Again, it is very light. Kind of matches my Painterly Paint Pot shade that I already have on my eyelids, just a little bit lighter. So far that applied very nice. Okay, what do I want to use next? Okay, next we're going to use the shade Back Talk. And this is like a really pretty muted pinky shade. It almost looks like Double Take, which is this blush shade. And honestly, we can use some of the blush shades on our eyes today too. So I'm going to take this Makeup Forever brush. I'm going to get a pretty good amount. We're just going to go back and forth. You know, it's pigmented. It's applying very nicely. I did something weird right here. I don't know if you guys see this, but it's like a straight up line. I don't know if that was me or the Painterly shade. Yeah, this is a very pretty color. This is like a very soft color too. Like this kind of shade reminds me of like Valentine's Day looks, but a really pretty color to start with. It's kind of of weird right here. I don't know if it's just me. No, I really like this shade. I feel like on camera it's looking a little bit patchy. Okay, I'm going back through here and just buffing this in with a MAC 227 brush just because I just cleaned those brushes and I feel like it was making the eyeshadow just look a little bit like patchy, and I don't think the actual eyeshadow is patchy. I did go over the brow bone shade a little bit, so I'm going to go back in and just kind of like retouch it up right there. And you can actually save that step to the end in case we blend any more shades up, but I'm just going to do it right now. That way we don't lose the brow bone highlight. Okay, so that's what we have so far. Next, I'm going to go into this shade. It's called WTF, and it's a very beautiful brown shade. And I'm really going to concentrate this more like right in the crease. And it looks like it's going to be very pigmented too. Very, very pretty. I keep feeling like there is like some patchiness. Do y'all see that? So that is laid down. Since we kind of blended a little bit of the pink away, I'm actually going to go into the double take shade, which is the blush. And I'm just going to kind of use that as a middleman to smooth everything out and still make it where the look is a little bit pink too. Now you have a bunch of different like really pretty light shades, but for this look I really want to concentrate more on like purples. Yeah, this is really pretty. Let's see here. Gosh, what do we want to do? Yeah, I want to use the purple shade. Let's see how pigmented it is. So we're going to go in with the color Shade right here. I have been doing this and I've really been enjoying it. So I'm going to put down a little bit of soft ochre. Really just any paint pot will do. That's what I've been liking to do recently. Just to kind of even like further brighten the lid shade that we're going to be going in with. Just so it has something to like really cling to and hold on to. And then we're going to go in with Shade. The shade Shade. Actually, you know what? Scratch that. We're going to go in with the shade Low Key because this is like a beautiful peach shade. That's what we're going to do. I think that this is going to be so gorgeous. I feel like it's pretty, but it's just not what I really want. So we're going to stick to the original plan. I'm going to go on top of that with the color Shade. So Shade is this really pretty purple shade. And we'll actually keep it a little bit lighter since we are going on top of it. Ooh, I like that shade. It's really pretty. The shade is gorgeous. So there's that. Let me wipe underneath my eyes. There's a little bit of fallout. Okay, so here's what we have so far. I'm going to go back in with WTF, which is that really pretty brown shade. I'm going to darken up the crease. And again, I am getting like quite a bit of fallout on my eyes. And then I'm going to go back into Double Take, mixed in with that, and just do it just a little bit more right here on the edge. I'm going in and smoothing everything out. All right, next we are going to go underneath the eyes, and I'm going to go in again with that WTF shade. Back and forth. And I just feel like I want the outer corners to be darker. Like it just, to me, is just still too light. So I'm going to go in with a smaller brush and mix it in with a little bit. Okay, so this is, so far is the eye look. And then we're going to go in and we are going to do the blushes. So I'm going to take a little bit of Double Take and Cheap Shot. We're going to mix these two together and just go in with a really... Why did I do that on the front of my face? I should have started in the back. Oh my gosh. It's a pretty shade. It's very pigmented. Pretty shades. And then we are going to go in with the highlight shade right here. This is called Party Foul. There's Party Foul. It is very pretty. It's not like something that I would probably pick up and buy like as a normal highlight. I'm going to go in and dust some of Low Key on top of this to make it a little bit more peachy. Actually, speaking of Party Foul, let's see what it looks like as a brow bone highlight. I mean, it doesn't really do a whole lot. I don't feel like, I mean, it does a little bit, but not as much as I want it to. Okay, so I am going to just do one more round of blending this out. I'm going to go put eyelashes on, some eyeliner, lipstick. We'll be back. I'll swatch everything for you guys, and then we'll go through like pros and cons of the palette. Okay, so here's going to be the finished look with like lashes and liner and mascara and lipstick and everything else. So here's kind of like what everything looks like. Let me see if I can get close up in the camera. Zoom y'all out a little bit. Okay, so let's go through swatches. I'm going to talk about price point. I'm going to be talking about all my pros and all my cons because I feel like there's a lot to go through with this palette. So first, we are going to be swatching the big shades, which are going to be your blushes and your highlights. So the first one is called Cheap Shot, and this is going to be a really pretty purple shade. I'm going to do like bigger swatches just so you guys can see. Here's what that looks like on the hand. It has a really, really pretty shift to it, and I even want to put a little bit more of that on. I feel like sometimes when you do your highlight, your blush can get a little bit lost. I'm just going to pick up a little bit more of that and just kind of dusting it on the cheeks. Okay, so yes, that is Cheap Shot right there. Next we have Double Take, and this is like your standard pinky mauve type blush. It's a very matte blush where the first one has a shimmer to it. So that right there is Double Take. I don't know if these are actually Urban Decay blushes. Let me look that up. No, it doesn't look like they are. Okay. Next we have Low Key, which is going to be, honestly, you could use it as like a shimmery blush shade, or you can use it as a highlight. This looks so, so gorgeous. It just, like I said, didn't do very well on the eyes. And there, that is swatched on the hands. So that's Low Key. And then very last, you have Party Foul. This is going to be more of like that silvery champagne-y highlight right there. And there, that is swatched. So this, again, is like the blush and highlight row. Here's an up close of those shades. So very pretty colors. These are definitely colors that are right up my alley. I'm trying not to rub my hand too hard because I self-tan today. So I'm like, please let me stay tan for a little bit. It's not working. Okay, so again, that is the first row that we just watched. Now we're going to go on to this row. First shade in the palette is called 3 Sheets. And this is going to be a very light pink shade. Again, really good for like that brow bone highlight shade right there. Okay, next we have Bear, and this is going to be a shimmery champagne, but it has like, it's almost like a light shimmery pink. I don't know if you guys can tell. It reminds me a lot of the highlight shade in the palette. So right there you have 3 Sheets and Bear. Next shade is called Curve, and this is a shimmer like purple lavender shade. There is a swatch right next to the second one, and here it is close up. Next shade we have is Back Talk, and this is going to be that really pretty like mauve purple shade that I put on at first for the video. There is swatched on the hand. It's like a really pretty soft pink shade, and that is called Back Talk. Next we have Shade, which is the color I'm wearing on my eyes. It's a little bit muted since I did put it over a shimmer shade, but there it is right there, and that is called Shade. We next have Attitude, and this is like a really pretty cranberry shade. This color is probably one of the most pigmented in the palettes, and that is called Attitude. There we go right there. Next we have WTF, which is a really pretty matte brown shade. Again, another very pigmented shade in the palette. And then last but not least, we have 1980, which is a dark brown shade. And there's that. Here, all those shades swatched right there. Okay, so let's get down to the nitty gritty, the pros and the cons of the palette. So I'm going to start with pros. I think it's always good to start off on a good note. Okay, now it's literally like not closing all together. Do you see this? Like, is it in wrong? Okay, it's literally not even closing. Total fail. Back to what we were talking about. So let's start with those pros. So I love the concept of the palette. I like that you have everything you need for color on your eyes and face right here in one palette, besides like your powder products. But I do really like it. I like that they included highlight shades. I like that they included blush shades, and then you have shimmers and matte shades. I love that it's travel friendly, so you could just really throw this in your purse or your travel bag and you have a whole look in a palette. You guys know these kind of colors are my favorite. Like, I love purples and mauve tones. It's just right up my alley. So I really liked all of that. And I feel like the price point's pretty good, $46. Let me go grab one of Urban Decay's blushes. Let's see if it even has the ounces. Okay, I cannot remember how much these retailed for, but for example, let's open the palette all the way back up. Here you have an Urban Decay blush, which is 6.8 grams or 0.23 ounces. And then the ones in the palette are 4 grams or 0.14 ounces. So, I mean, you are getting a pretty good size of these in this palette. You know what I mean? You're getting 4. I mean, I know they're not quite this big, but you're getting 4 different ones. So I think like for the overall price point, you are getting a ton of different shades. You're getting blushes, you're getting highlights. I love the concept of that because you are getting so much. For the cons of the palette, what I'll say is that I was so so freaking excited for this palette. Like, I've been waiting for this to come out like forever. And even like when seeing it in store, I was just so pumped about it because they're such pretty shades. I don't really feel like they performed like I wanted them to perform. I'm obviously leaving like the mess ups and stuff in the video, but I felt like they were being kind of patchy, and I just had to like keep on applying them when I was putting them on my eyes. Like, I kept having to build up the pigmentation. That's not always a bad thing, you know, because with some palettes, I do like to build the pigmentation up, but even with like the shimmer shades, like when I want a shimmer shade, I want it to just be like bam and done. Swipe it across my eye and it's going to be so pigmented. I don't want to have to use a Fix Plus. Really, I don't even want to have to use a paint pot to make it really pigmented. And I feel like even using a base underneath it didn't really make the look stand out. Like, this to me isn't a look where I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to have this palette because the shades I used were just like so bomb. You know what I mean? Like, I always try to give you guys like my best opinions when I do these kind of videos because it is like a first impression, but I just don't feel like when it came to like the eye look that I was like, wow, so impressed. The shades were so blendable and creamy and pigmented. I felt like I really had to take some time to work up the colors, and even yet, I don't feel like they're like, yay. You know what I mean? I hope that makes sense. Another thing is that this is not freaking closing all the way, which, I mean, you know, it's not good. So that's one thing. It doesn't look like it's like being put back together. I think the blushes looked really good. I don't think the highlighters, like, they're okay, but they aren't something that I would go out and buy like a full-size highlighter with. To me, again, they were just like, you had to really blend them in and work them up. It wasn't like a smooth transition on the face, in my opinion. I don't know. I just feel like this palette was so hyped up, and I was so hyped up that I feel like I'm just a little bit disappointed in it. Let me know if you guys have tried it. Maybe I got a bad palette. I always say that because there have been sometimes I've reviewed palettes where maybe I didn't really like them, but other people did, or I really did and other people didn't. But this for me, I mean, I think that the price tag is good for everything you're getting, $46. And I mean, I would definitely probably use these shades right here. I'll use like Fix Plus to make these a little bit more pigmented. And then the last thing is I wish that they would have left this out and maybe did like another matte shade. This one to me is just not like super pretty and on trend with this palette. You know what I mean? Like, I get this shade for blending, but I wish they would have did maybe like another shimmer shade or a matte shade. Okay, and then the other thing, see how this is like all cased in right here? And right now it's actually staying, which is good. So basically when you open it like this, like just depending on what way you're going, the mirror can come out of the casing. So that's just another thing to note. So overall, what I would say about this palette is I am a little bit disappointed. I love Urban Decay, and I've been liking a lot of products that they've been coming out with. I know they have like the eye glitters that I really like. They just came out with a really pretty holographic highlighter. I love the Naked Heat palette. I love the Urban Decay Naked Foundation. I've been wearing that every day recently. So there's a ton of products that I do love from Urban Decay. But this one to me, I just feel like, again, I'm just a little bit disappointed. I feel like there's other palettes that are in the same price point that you could spend your money on where you wouldn't necessarily have to work up the shades like I did, and they wouldn't be patchy and things like that. So I would say, this would probably be a pass for me just because I have so many other palettes that contain shimmer shades that are going to just like bam in your face as soon as I swipe them on. And even though you do get a lot for the price, to me, it may not be worth spending that much when I have other palettes that I can gravitate toward that aren't going to give me as much trouble really as this one did. I hate to say that because I was so excited about this. But for me, I would say it's a pass. Let me know if you guys tried it out. What do you think? Am I crazy? Let me know in the comments below. But yeah, I hope this review was helpful. Give me a thumbs up if it was. So let me just say that as soon as I saw this palette on... Am I even filming? Oh, I am. As soon as I saw this palette on trend mode, so you're part of the notification. So where did you go? I miss you so. Okay, there it is. Oh. Sorry, roll away eyeliner. All right, where did you go? Okay, so here is going to be the finished look. You have everything that you need for like, what I'll say, pinky, and I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'm going to keep trying to do more of these reviews, so stay tuned. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye!